So usually when I do post a movie review, I end up just saying I liked it because I don't really want to make a video about something that didn't really strike me as interesting. If it's not like an interesting thing that happened or that I think I can bring something new to the table for the conversation, there's really no point in making it. But when it comes to Detective Pikachu, I'll go ahead and say it right here and right now. I kind of have some mixed feelings on the movie. And walking into it, I was really excited, thinking at the end of the day, as long as I get to see cool Pokemon shit next to real people, I don't care because the art style is lovely. I love the way they look. I especially love Pikachu. You know, when people talk about Sonic's design and we talk about the Pokemon's design, I say, look, even the Pokemon were redesigned compared to how they looked, in the game for this movie. And I'm pretty sure it's the same animation team that's doing Sonic and Pikachu anyway. But it's like, look, guys, at the end of the day, Sonic's just got a bad design. It's not that they redesigned him and that's why it's bad. It's that they give him a bad redesign. It doesn't look good. Whereas I think Pikachu's design is fucking 100% spot on, and I prefer this. I rather have this than if they basically had CGI models from the Pokemon games themselves that looked very super accurate to the Pokemon characters from the games. I would rather have it like this, which is it's better because my imagination in my mind when thinking about a live action Pokemon movie would feature those kind of CGI Pokemon, and this brings something new to the table. It makes it more interesting. I like that furry Pokemon have very furry texture. I like that scaly Pokemon have very scaly texture. But literally, the best things I can say about this movie involve the art and the visuals. There's some really cool stuff they do, and there are some jokes that really nail it. In fact, I thought the Mr. Mime scene was going to be really cringy just from watching the trailer. And what I learned was that the best jokes from the Mr. Mime scene were definitely saved for later. It was probably one of my more favorite parts of the movie. I really, yeah, Mr. Mime scene, the battle scene with Charizard that you see in the trailer, and then there's a few other scenes that you don't really get to see in the trailers, which is nice because this movie actually managed to keep hidden from the trailers what this is all about. Because as you know, walking into it, all you really know is that they're solving a case, whereas you get to see what this case is right away in this, and you get to learn a lot more of other details that weren't explained in the trailer. Ultimately, there was also like a corny ending, but that's not the problem. The corny ending is completely fine and honestly warranted. I thought it was cute, and I mean, and it fit the theme of the movie. It fit the idea, and basically, there's nothing wrong with the moral. The moral's perfectly fine. It's my problem with the movie is the plot. If you're worried about this movie not having jokes that land, don't worry about that. The jokes land enough. It's fine. But for me, it's the plot. The plot doesn't add up, and it's a really it's a big shame. It's a real shame. Now, does that make it a bad movie? No, I would say this movie is like a C average movie. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because if you haven't seen it yet and you're going into it, or if you've already watched it, you kind of have mixed feelings on it. Here's the thing: I went into it and I came out of it completely deflated. And all of my hype since they announced it, all of my hype for this movie really just gone, like completely deflated. With it very quickly into the movie, I realized what I was getting myself into. I was like, oh, that's what we're doing. Oh, this isn't as fun as I was hoping. However, there's still some very great scenes. In fact, almost all the scenes are great. To be honest, like the adventure is a lot of fun. It's just that the explanation at the end, the plot and all of it, the twists and the turns, some of them just don't make any sense, and it's not very good, and it's really made for you to not think about it. It kind of reminds me of the TMNT movie. Well, I guess I should call it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The one that everyone made fun of, the live action Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles movie that everyone made fun of for having ugly character designs. I didn't really like the designs myself, but I kind of got past it, and I ended up really enjoying the first one. The second one, with Bebop and Rocksteady, I thought would be even better, and they actually screwed that up so badly that it pretty much destroyed that franchise right then and there. Um, And then when I watched that movie, Megan Fox really sucked. Her acting was terrible, and a lot of the other characters couldn't really act either. So what saved it was the turtles and their characters being really spot on and seeing them in action. That was by far the best part of that movie. And here, Pikachu doesn't really have a character. He just says Pikachu, Pikachu. Of course, he has little quirks here and there. And the funny thing is, they actually managed to find ways to put little quirks like he would have from the show in the movie. He doesn't drink ketchup, he doesn't love ketchup, but there's something similar to that in this movie that I appreciated and I thought was cute. It gave this character some personality. It wasn't like. It felt like its own little thing, and I really enjoyed it. Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, by far, anytime I laughed at the movie, it was because of him. I didn't really like the two main characters, the main guy and the main girl, and also they're very forced. Like they didn't really have a relationship, they didn't kiss or whatever, but a lot of awkward jokes about them liking each other that I felt was really really awkward and didn't fit any at all. But there was definitely some really great jokes from Ryan Reynolds. That some of them come out of nowhere that just catch you off guard. They're almost Deadpool level jokes where it's like, did he really just say that? Which is fucking beautiful. And I heard that there's enough R-rated outtakes to make an R-rated cut of Detective Pikachu, which is really funny. But they're not going to release that. Okay, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are not going to release. But the movie itself is also set up to make most of the jokes come from Pikachu. Almost none of the comedy, none of the humor, really comes from anything but Pikachu. When it comes to the other Pokemon, it's mostly all action. And even when Pokemon are saying funny things, you don't actually get to hear what they're saying. It's translated by Pikachu. So again, and his delivery and his reaction make those moments funnier. So Ryan Reynolds is seriously. I know some people some people think Ryan Reynolds is overrated. Some people don't even like Deadpool because they're just sick of it at this point. Some people just really wanted Danny DeVito. But look, Ryan Reynolds is honestly a saving grace for this movie. I'm just gonna say it flat out. If you do not like Ryan Reynolds, you will probably not like this movie. But this is not Ryan Reynolds acting like Van Wilder. This is not Ryan Reynolds acting like Deadpool. This is not cocky Ryan Reynolds. This is Detective Pikachu Ryan Reynolds. It's really hard to describe what that is, but the way he acts in the trailer is basically how he acts in the movie. He doesn't act any different from that. It's a very light version of Ryan Reynolds, but because he's not the complete star of the show. You know, the star of the show is the kid. He's the straight man character of the movie, and a lot of the characters are straight, meant to be taken seriously, and I kind of appreciated that approach because a lot of this movie for me was just admiring that seeing the Pokemon world in like the real world, like real people interacting with Pokemon. Now, because of the way the Pokemon are designed, I'm talking about in the games too. There's no way to have Pokemon and humans together and make it look like it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? There's no way for them to be like in the games and in the anime. The art style is very consistent, so everything looks very good and it all fits together. But when you try to do the real world, that means humans have realistic textures, which means the Pokemon need to have realistic textures and not plasticky textures. And some of them with their big anime eyes just don't look like they're like you never stop believing. You know, it's like when you watch Avengers, when you see the Hulk and when you see Iron Man and when you see Thanos, you know those characters are CGI, but it looks like you could imagine what it would be like if, you know, someone like Captain America or Thor, who's a live action actor, was really standing next to them or really fighting them. It can seem really believable. And like when Thanos hits people, it could seem really believable. Luckily, in this movie, Pokemon don't fight people. Pokemon mostly just fight Pokemon, sort of like, you know, the actual games. And yes, if you're wanting to see some fan service, this movie's got you covered. It is definitely loaded with fan service. So if you're a Pokemon fan, and honestly, if you want to get into Pokemon, if you've been interested in wanting to get to know Pokemon, I don't understand why you wouldn't just play Pokemon Go on the cell phone game, because that is a lot of entertaining fun. It gets you to go outside and do something. To me, it's like the perfect game for people who don't want to play actual video games. And it's an already established franchise, and a lot of your friends can talk to you about it. So, and I remember seeing people talk about the game who've never played Pokemon and don't know anything about Pokemon. The only thing they know about Pokemon is Pikachu, and that's it. So, yeah, I mean, so to me, I would say you should just pick up that game, even if you missed the hype the first time around. But if you, I wouldn't exactly recommend this movie to someone who wants to get into Pokemon. But again, if you're a fan of Pokemon, if you're already a fan of Pokemon, then yes, this movie is going to be good. And even if you've only played Pokemon Go, that's fine. Honestly, that's seriously fine because a lot of the fun and love of this movie is just seeing them interacting with people. However, I'm talking references to the games. I'm talking references to the anime. I'm talking. It's so. When people say this is the first good video game movie, I don't think they mean this is the first good movie that's about a video game. I don't like, cause like I was watching it, it honestly made me appreciate the Marvel movies so much more. A lot of people give those movies shit, but I'm like, man, those movies are like PG-13 and they're really engaging. They make you care about the characters. They have some cool plots to them, some nice twists to them. Some of those movies are just fantastic, and this movie just couldn't grip me, couldn't grab me in because, and I think part of it is because the plot, a lot of it's rushed, the pacing's a little off in certain scenes, and it's just it's got its problems. It was still a fun ride. It was still a fun movie, and obviously a lot of the jokes are more intended for younger audiences. So I'm not bitter that I didn't laugh at every joke. Hey, I'm just happy I laughed at. I laughed at more jokes I thought I was going to laugh at. When I walk into a kids movie, I know I'm not going to laugh at every joke. But the fact is, I laughed at more things I thought I wouldn't laugh at. Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, a lot of the times he's making jokes for older audiences. He's making jokes for the parents who are coming to the movie with them. There's one particular line that really caught me off guard that just made me laugh just because I was like, I couldn't believe Pikachu just said that. And so, yeah, so to me, I'm just happy I laughed at all. So the fact of the matter is, I laughed. It wasn't cringy. It was fun. It was cute. I enjoyed a lot of aspects about the movie. Overall, though, it wasn't a perfect movie. Like I said, pacing issues. The plot was a little wonky. In fact, it was a lot wonky in my opinion. Maybe other people will be more fine with it. I did like the theme and the moral of the story. I liked everything they were going for. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like a C average. I can't say it's a bad movie. And for a lot of people, that's a win. That's a win. It's a video game movie that's actually like kind of good and not just shit. Because it does have moments that makes me like kind of like I was thinking about the Mario movie while watching it, and it's like it's not even close to like that bad. Don't worry, not even close to that bad. It's much much better. But there are certain aspects that are similar, but it's just done in a much much better movie. And to the point where there is some aspects also where you think like, the people behind this movie know Pokemon, but they don't know it like super super duper well. Like they kind of make some bullshit up at some points, and it goes for a plot that doesn't try to follow the games at all, which in my opinion is the right choice to do. And I mean, really, the Super Mario Bros. Movie kind of did its own plot. It also, to me, that's fine. It's fine when movie adaptations do that for games, unless the games have amazing plots. Luckily, with Pokemon, the plot's just kind of like you. It's more about your own personal journey, and there is always a plot with like Team Rocket and all this shit, but you have more fun just capturing Pokemon and collecting them, and it's about your journey to becoming the champion more so than it is about defeating Team Rocket and all that business. I will say, I got hyped. Well, I won't say something. There's references to the anime, there's references to the games, and there's references to a lot, basically everything Pokemon. And it's really fun. You get to see Pokeballs, you get to see all that, you get to see someone, you get to see Pokemon battles, you get to see this stuff. So it's really cool. It was a good movie. It's just, it wasn't as good as I believe it could have been, and I wish they would have tried. I understand pacing issues can be difficult, and sometimes You can't see what a movie's like until you've already shot it and stuff like that. So I understand that. I just wish they would have worked a little bit harder on the plot, because the plot is purely mental. There's no movie magic about it. That's where the plot, you could just write a book and it would be the same story with a plot. So the fact that the plot isn't that good and the movie makes up for it with its other aspects, to me, it's fine, but at the same time, wish they would have tried a little bit harder on the plot. That's all. I just wish they would have tried harder. So if I had to give this, I already said I kind of give it like a C average score, but if I had to give it a number score, I would give it a 6 out of 10. And I know, like, there's, I think most people now are smart enough to know that 6 out of 10 isn't a bad score. Hell, there's 5 numbers below 6. Okay, one of those are bad, but not all of them. Even 5 isn't completely bad. But the way I look at movies is that a lot of them give you different range of emotions of feelings, right? So we're gonna say if a C average is like a 5, then a 6 would be like a C plus, right? Or maybe that's not even the correct way to look at it. But I would say, yeah, it's a good. It's just like an average movie, but it's a good one. It's a good. It does good things. It's not a shit show at all. It's good. It's good. It's just not the best. So, do I say you need to go out and run out and see it right now? Well, I did. I didn't want to wait because I am a fan of Pokemon, and I made a video already saying I'm buying Let's Go Pikachu. I don't care what anyone says. And then I bought it and I loved it. I mean, I really loved that game. And then I made a video where Detective Pikachu's trailer came out, and there's some people trying to dog on it. Most people were just excited for it, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm really excited for this. This is awesome." And I expressed my opinions in that video, but yeah, I can't believe this was the first Pokemon live action movie. It's also the first live action movie by Nintendo, like, since the Mario Brothers movie, which I think is in the works right now. So I mean, hell, man, I would love more Nintendo movies, man. That'd be great. And I mean, and say what you want about the Sonic movie. They showed the trailer for it again, and I was literally laughing at it. No matter how many times I watch that trailer, I still laugh at it because it plays Gangster's Paradise, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Everyone's making fun of that, and Sonic just says some really corny stuff. He says "gotta go fast," and it's the most ridiculous thing to try to present, because they don't realize that these things are memes. Like, Sonic is a meme, and we make fun of him so much, and they're trying to make him look cool, but they're still doing the stupid meme shit. It doesn't work. It would be better, honestly, if this Sonic was very different from our Sonic, because our Sonic it's kind of become a joke over the years. Now, they could go back to the super classic style of Sonic, but I don't know. To me, that the fact that they're trying to make a movie about it and based in the real world kind of signifies that they're already just not going to try to make the classic Sonic. But the idea they're trying to make him kind of have like a cool attitude, I don't know. Okay, as long as I think it would work if his humor is a much different from how he is currently right now. But the fact that he's like embracing the meme and saying "gotta go fast" and there's like lots of corny jokes and quips, that just no. But at the same time, the Sonic movie is looking like it's for little kids, so let's not like. I'm not gonna beat it to death. I do think it's a good decision to change his design, but not. I don't think it needs to be changed too much. I think there's a huge missed opportunity to do the eyes more accurate to Sonic's eyes. That could look really damn like cool and awesome. Again, Pikachu's design is actually mostly accurate to his how he's supposed to look. Um, I want him to be shorter. He's too tall. It looks very weird. He looks like an alien or something. Like how gray skinned aliens are kind of awkward looking because they have like their bodies aren't very big. It looks kind of like that. And yeah, there's just a lot about Sonic's design. Just give him some gloves, guys. Give him some racing gloves, like the kind that car drivers race with. I don't care. I don't care because it signifies speed. And it's gloves. If you don't give him big cartoon gloves, then give him that shit. Don't make his hands white, okay? It just looks bad. And also the blue arms thing, I know it's kind of a meme to make fun of Sonic for having blue arms, but come on. Why did you give him blue arms? Just give him normal skin there. But they didn't want to give him like skin textures anywhere. They made him furry all over, which kind of makes me say, hey, maybe you shouldn't go for this realistic, gross version of a character like how Pokemon did it, because it works well with Pokemon, but it doesn't mean it works exactly well for Sonic's design. So maybe a different art style altogether would benefit here for Sonic. And for me, I would love to see something very similar to his classic design, but I know a lot of people really want to see, like, I don't want to see basically just what Sonic looks like now in Sonic Forces, but on the big screen with acting with humans. Like how Sonic looks in Wreck-It Ralph, I don't want Sonic to look like that here. So, yeah. But either way, I already kind of gave my score for Pikachu. It's just a solid 6 out of 10 movie. Not bad. 6 out of 10 does not mean bad. Okay, it means it's average. In fact, it means it's slightly above average, because I think there's some good stuff in this movie. I think it's a cool movie. I would probably give the TMNT movie that I was talking about earlier also a 6 out of 10, and I really enjoyed that first movie. It actually gave me some good vibes. It made me excited for Ninja Turtles. It made me happy. It made me want to play the games and play Ninja Turtle stuff with my brother and all that sort of stuff. So, this I like that stuff. I like that movie. The second movie I didn't like, but sometimes movies are made and they're total cash grabs and they're just soulless, and you could still find some good stuff about them. I don't believe this was a total soulless cash grab. I think that Nintendo is trying to market Pokemon and market like the idea of doing some Nintendo movies. The fun thing about Detective Pikachu is that while this movie kind of has a definitive ending where I don't know how they could even do a sequel. However, this does kind of set up, like, we could have a Pokemon movie sequel that is just based in the Pokemon world. There's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, we could see that happen. So, I would love a sequel, but it might not be Detective Pikachu with Ryan Reynolds. It might be someone else. But honestly, Ryan Reynolds, does he really need to do every one of the Pokemon movies? We could have someone else do the Pokemon movies. So, whatever Nintendo wants to do. I'm more excited about the idea for the Mario and Luigi movie. Honestly, I would love it if it was just a CGI movie about Mario and Luigi and they just talked like normal people. Like, that's when I would say, get Danny DeVito to play Mario. Okay? Get Danny DeVito to play Mario, please. But then who would play Luigi? Who the fuck would play Luigi? Another, like, grouchy man. Or maybe someone a little bit less grouchy. I don't know. That's a good question. If you guys have any ideas for who could play the Mario brothers, whether it be real brothers in real life or just anyone that you think could be a good comedy duo with two men, and who makes you think of Mario and Luigi. But until then, if it's going to be live action, the best part about the live action, Detective Pikachu, the best part about Detective Pikachu is that it doesn't need to be about Ash. It didn't need to be about Red. It just needed to be about, anything. Honestly, I think that's a much better approach than doing like the story of Red or the story of Ash. Just making a movie based on the Pokemon universe. Other video game movies don't have that kind of, unless you count Final Fantasy Spirits Within, a lot of movies have to sort of be based off of a game, They have to be based off of those characters. Otherwise, it won't really work as well. Pokemon has that kind of, like, ability to where the characters and the story, again, that's not what Pokemon's really about. Pokemon's more about your own personal journey with the characters. So, unless we're talking about Pokemon Black and White, of course, but we're not. Though that would be cool to see, like, on the big screen. But either way, what I want to see for, like, for a video game movie, I mean, if we're talking Nintendo exclusively, because if we're talking about video game movie, I want Metal Gear Solid. No question, I want Metal Gear Solid. I want Metal Gear Solid more than anything else. But if we're talking about like purely Nintendo, the good thing is if they did Zelda, the rules could be very loose. The main character would be Link, and Zelda and Ganon would be in it, but a lot of the other factors could be really loose. the aspects they want to take from any Zelda game, they could, you know. So that's a good idea for Zelda. You know, Zelda is made to recreate the world each game, so Zelda would actually work perfectly and a lot better than something like Mario or anything else. But obviously, the other obvious answer would be if they made a Metroid movie, that would be fucking dope. And if they did a Star Fox movie, because Star Fox is one of my favorite IPs, believe it or not, um, then I would say it needs to be CGI the entire time. But if they do, I mean, come on, of course it needs to be. But if they do, a Zelda movie, I think that'd be the best possible choice for Nintendo. But it looks like they're going ahead with a Mario movie, so we'll see how that goes. I already said the review. I'm more just kind of talking to make this video a little bit more fun, because I feel bad just releasing a short video. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, so it's not super long. And yeah, that's my thoughts on Pikachu. You don't have to go see it right now. You can wait till it's on TV and Netflix. It's fine. But if you're very, very dedicated to Pokemon and really want to see it, yeah, it's not the worst thing. You'll enjoy it. So yeah, check it out. All right, and I'm gonna end it here. I'll see you guys